Hello, Aries. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Chakra Wisdom Tarot by Tori Hartman, artwork by Katrina Sokolova. It's below the word tarot, if I can get it on camera. There's a couple websites, torihartman.com, watkinspublishing.com, also watkinspublishing.co.uk, I think is one of the websites. Feel free to check that out, or freeze frame and check what out, whoever you want. Supportive Oracle cards, Spellcasting Oracle cards by Flavia, Barbara, and Lizbeth. Lizbeth did the artwork. There's some websites here. She Who Is Art always stands out to me, but if you want to check out any of the other ones, of course, feel free. Just freeze frame and check them out. Check them out. This was a weird shuffle. I had cards falling out, and I just felt like I should leave them out, so let's see what happens. Your cards came out good. There's a lot. I feel like we're going to have a lot of cards this time around, but that's okay. That cat. I've probably mentioned this before, but this cat looks so sarcastic to me. It's kind of like, yeah, good luck, buddy. That's how this cat looks to me. It's like very sarcastic, or she, they, whatever the cat is. They're like, oh, you think so? Is there a crown? There's a crown on their head, too. I love it. How can you not love that cat with the crown and everything? Like, good luck. Like, you think so? Good luck, buddy. Somebody thinks they're going to win out. Somebody thinks they're going to win out. I don't know what's going on here just yet. We got to get a little bit deeper into it, but I feel like somebody doesn't understand who you really are. This could easily be a work situation, because, you know, I feel like I've thought this a lot of times. I don't know how often I've said it in the past, but when I've worked in corporate environments, it's kind of like some people only get away with stuff because literally there's a paycheck connected to it. I've also said that certain people, you only listen to what they have to say because your paycheck says you got to. And you take away that paycheck, this would go differently. Like, people only get away with stuff because it's a job. It's one of those things. And I feel like this person, like, you have a very, like, when you show up to get a job done, you have certain priorities. I'm here for this, and for that reason I handle it this way. But it's kind of like if we were friends, or if you knew this person outside of work and it didn't have a paycheck connected, this dynamic would go a lot different. And they don't realize that. I feel like Aries can be very strategic. I've known a couple Aries. There's one in particular I'm thinking of, and he was very strong, needless to say. But he could tolerate people and be nice to people to a point, but they would just hit this one spot. Like, it would just hit just a little too much, and then you could see it on his face. At least I could see it on his face. Like, oh, you better back up, because he's going to tell you something, and you're not going to like it. Because he could only take it so far, and then he's like, all right. And it would come off as sarcasm or humor, but if you knew him well enough, you know he wasn't kidding. He meant what he said, but it's kind of like, well, I'm here to, I got to make the paycheck. Sure, I was kidding. Yeah, sure. Sure. He would usually walk away afterwards, too. That was one of the kind of telltale signs, in my opinion. He'd say something, kind of laugh, and walk away, and be like, yeah, that's how he's not telling you more. That's how he's that's how he's ending that conversation. He's walking away before it gets worse, because he has a lot more to tell you. He's just realizing he really shouldn't, for the job's sake, for the paycheck's sake. That can be difficult for some Aries, some more than others, depending on how the rest of your chart goes. This person doesn't know you half as well as they think they do. But you play it very smart. There's something here you're invested in, and you play it smart, you do the best you can. And there's a lot here you won't say because of it. People underestimate Aries sometimes, because they don't think you could hold it back if you want to. Depends. If you've decided you need to, and you're holding yourself to that, you have very strong willpower if you've decided that's what needs to happen and you put it together a certain way. Again, Aries can be extremely strategic, and if you've decided, for this reason, I need to not say something, people underestimate how strong you can be in that respect. sometimes people think that you just say things randomly or that you just can't help yourself. If you've decided you're not going to say something, you know how to do what you need to do. This person, I'm just kind of like, okay. Because I think we're coming up to one of these moments where you're going to say something. And, like, they like you. They do like you. And they like working with you. Because you get done what you need to get done. And you're very productive when it's suiting you correctly. Oh my god, this person doesn't know you. It's bothering me more and more. Like, oh boy. When you say what you have to say, because I see it coming. And I see it's like, it might be like a backhanded compliment. I've been told I'm good at those. You know. They see success, I feel like you're gonna laugh it off. Goes right over their head. Because you want it to. I feel like you're letting something pass. The moment is coming. I do feel like you're gonna play it off like you're joking, but they're saying, I feel like this is one of those times where it's kind of like if you can vent it out somewhere else beforehand, bring down your stress level. I'm a big fan of Paul McKenna. The book I'm thinking is How to Mend Your Broken Heart is geared towards romantic relationships, but you can use it for anything. I've used it for business relationships a lot, and it just takes away, like, when people do stuff and you're just like, they just do things that it's obnoxious. It can take the energy right out of that. Kind of like, instead of seeing them do it, going, ugh. Instead of that reaction, kind of like, oh yeah, look at that, they did that again. It's very shocking to me how strong that book is, or how helpful. You could just take, like, you just don't care when they do stuff. It's just very strange. It's gonna pass. And also that Paul McKenna thing is because I feel like it's gonna drive you a little bit nuts, because I feel like it's gonna be hard for you to not overthink it, because it's kind of like, I made it into a joke, but I did mean it, and I really kind of like don't like that. It's annoying to me. It's obnoxious. I have the urge to say more. I gotta find a way to vent out this energy. I feel like really. Because if you just, I don't know, I think it's, some of you might get really kind of like, it depends on the situation, it depends on the moment, and I feel like it's going to depend on how the situation plays out for you. There's a possibility this could be like opening you know when you shake up a can of soda and it goes, and it makes a mess? We got that chance here. There's a possibility that that's going to happen. And it's kind of like, you know, you don't want to, you got to be careful here. The moment is coming. I'm more worried about other people than the person you're talking to. I've had this happen in my life. I do have some Aries in my chart, so I can relate to this. It's not the person you're telling off. It's the other people watching you do it. They get upset about it. And it's being misunderstood. And people just being like, oh God, I don't want to work with that. I've been there with that. I was in my 20s when that happened. But, because I can have quite the sharp tongue if I want to. It's very interesting. It's more about the people around the situation. It's more about that. Because people might hold an opinion about you, and you might not realize it. It's like exactly what they're thinking. Because they just watch, and they're quiet about it, and then they form an opinion about you that may not be correct. Like, they don't realize what's going on or how much this is building up or all this other stuff. The way that somebody's misinterpreting you or the way they feel about you or whatever. Because the person you are kind of popping off on a little bit is what I'm kind of getting. They seem to take it with a grain of salt. They don't really, it's going right over. They want it to. They just take it with like, oh, you know, Aries said something, but I don't think they really meant it. I mean, you did, but they don't think you did. It's very interesting for this to come in. They seem to let it go, but other people, see, this is like the world coming in. I feel like it's like it's the people around me, and it may change where you're going in this situation. Like you might want to move forward later. You might be surprised who actually ends up standing in your way. That's the thing. There might be some people who actually distance themselves from you. I keep looking at this and I'm like, it doesn't feel good to me. And they're very quiet. And people just might quietly just distance themselves from you and just decide they don't want anything to do with that. This is what I'm more worried about. The what do you call that? The shrapnel or the like the aftershock. Are we sure with that? 'Cause I'm getting kind of like an ending feel with this. It's the page of fire and then the devil card. People just walk away and they just decide that you're not something they want to deal with. The devil card came up on the dice, and the page is like they just see you as like somebody who's out, who's like they think you're just a mean person. I think is what it is. Be careful. Be careful. Hopefully, like, find a way to vent out that energy before this happens. Be careful what you say, not so much for the person you're saying it to, but for those around you who are listening. So you might have the ability to, like, you know, be careful when you talk to this person. Keep it more in a private place. Maybe that can work. That way if you say something, because I feel like it might just blurt out. And if there's nobody around, there's hardly anybody around, maybe you're going to be okay with that. Because there's things you want to happen here. And I'm getting like other people seem to be upset about what happens. It's kind of like we don't want your commitment to the situation, which is this one, right? Commitment and well-being to get damaged because of something you said, and other people are deciding that they're upset and they want to walk away from it. They got trust and commitment. Trust and friendship. Was commitment down? Commitment's over here. It gets really messy, but I feel like it's not something that's happening right in front of you. Like, it's happening around you, and I feel like it's questioning is like, is justice going to be served here if people aren't telling you how they really feel? And once it's done, it's done. It seems like people have this opinion. You don't realize what people are thinking or feeling, so there's nothing you can do to correct it. So I feel like they're telling you this moment is coming. They're giving you a heads up so that way you can handle it a different way, but still vent out that energy without it causing damage in a way that you weren't really expecting. Alright, I think that's it. I'm going to shut this down here. Hopefully that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.